Hey, happy it's your boy, Mr. CJ. I'm back in this thing. Welcome back to another episode of Mastermind Principles at Chris Joseph University. I got my boy Drew in the building in this thing, and we about to go over one of the biggest and best principles from my guy Napoleon Hill at Think Go Rich, which is desire. How you feeling, Drew?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank you for having me back.
How you feeling about this topic?
Excited, man. It's one of my favorite topics.
One of my favorite, man, desire. It's a really big topic. Follow along. We're going to also ask some questions that I want you guys to follow along with in there too. So let's go ahead and get into that first one, Drew. What is desire and how is it different from just wishing and wanting? Like in your words, describe what desire is, and also let's dive into Napoleon Hill, how he explains what desire is.
Most definitely.
So what is it in your words?
So in my words, I say that desire is a state of mind based on you having a definite goal, trying to achieve something, based on you putting all your energy, effort behind that goal and making sure that it happens. I mean, meaning that you're doing everything you could do to make it happen. You put in your work to make that happen. Third is having a belief in a manifestation of that goal. You gotta believe it before you actually see it, right?
Right.
So that's the third thing. Then the fourth thing is burning all bridges behind that's gonna be a setback in order to you get into that goal. So you gotta start to realize, what sacrifices do I have to make in order to fulfill this desire for whatever goal it is that I'm setting up. Is it a desire to buy a house? Is it a desire to accumulate riches for you to be a millionaire, billionaire? You gotta be real definite, and that's the difference between, which is a very important question you asked, that's the difference between a desire and wishing and hoping for things.
Now, the first thing I caught when you got going was a state of mind.
Right, it is a state of mind.
A state of mind. I believe when we get into just wanting stuff or just I want to have that, that's not a state of mind.
Right, that could be you call those fleeting thoughts. That's what those are. You just driving, you thinking about something, or you watch something on TV, on Instagram, you see somebody on there stunning, showing all this jewelry and everything, like, oh man, I want that. But you ain't putting no work behind it to go and get that. You know, people want money, but what service are you offering to get that money? What people are you talking to? Who you marketing to? What service you providing in order to get that money? A lot of people be thinking that money gonna pop up poof, but it ain't like that. And if it does, it's probably not the best
Not the way you want to get it, for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So you also mentioned it being a burning desire.
Right.
Well, it's the same word, desire, in it, but it's a burning obsession, I should say. Burning obsession
Most definitely.
heats up that desire. So how do you go from just wanting something to get into that burning desire? This has to be something that, the way I look at it is, like you said, you kind of want things here and there, but when you have a burning obsession, which is it's something that you always wanted inside. So I think this is where we get into the going within.
Right.
Going into, well, what do you really want though? You know, we can want a lot of things, but what do you really want that you can't live without that?
Right.
Or that if you did this, your life will be fulfilled.
It got to be like air to you. It got to be your oxygen. Basically, you got to be willing to drown in order to get that objective done. That's really how it has to be.
And so you say it's something that you got to burn all bridges behind. So when you usually make something your desire, and it's a burning obsession, and you separate that from something you just wishing and hoping for, you get into that point to where like, hey, you know, there's no retreat.
Right.
There's no going back. And I think a lot of times when people say they want something, they'll want it today, they don't want it tomorrow.
Right.
They'll want it this week, they don't want it next week. But when it's a burning obsession and it's something that you can't, you know, go back to, that's the fire, I believe, that keeps you going day in, day out to where you don't quit.
Most definitely.
Because you can't, you don't want to do nothing else.
Most definitely. And what happens is when you turn that desire into an obsession, into a dominating thought in your mind, that's all you thinking about. You clearing out all those other things that don't matter to you. You just focused on your goal, like real focus. What happens is now you start actually working with God and nature. When you put a desire in your mind and it turns into obsession, you know, as we all study the mind in psychology, you've come to know the mind consists of two things, the conscious and the subconscious.
Right.
So yes, you develop that that desire initially in your conscious mind by being conscious of what you want to achieve. But what happens is when you continuously, and we'll go into how to turn a desire into an obsession. But what happens is when you turn your desire into an obsession, you start engaging nature and God, depending on what your beliefs are and how you believe in God and nature and the universe. The universe will start to open up ideas to you. It works in its own way. We may not understand how things are happening. Some people call it luck and miracles, but when you put something out into the universe that you back, like I said earlier on, with a definite goal, all your energy and focus, you burning the bridges behind you, what you're really doing is that you're really giving it to God to be like, hey, this is what I want. And when that happens, God, through some mysterious ways, starts to translate your desire into reality.
And perfect. And I caught what you said, clearing out your mind.
Yep.
Straight, locked in focus, meaning removing distractions.
Because, I mean, think about how many people desire money, but still allow their mind to be cluttered with how they worried about lack and bills. And I see so many people that talk about what they want, but all I hear them talk about and they mind state. Because the thing is, you can see somebody's mind state based off of their actions, how they moving. If you talk about wanting to be rich, but you lazy, you're not really making no moves. You're not out here exploring opportunities. You're not being open-minded. You hoping and wishing.
And it don't work that way. So we
It don't
got
work
people
that way.
that's like, all right, man, hey, look, I know I want this. I'm about to work up a white hot heat, an obsession or a desire, but how do I keep that going? How does that not turn into just a want and I fade off? I go hard this month and I fall off the next month, and I can't pick it back up and I just quit, get hit with a temporary defeat, get hit with some failure.
Most definitely.
What's the play and action to keep that desire, as a flame and going? And that's what you spoke on earlier as that affirmation, which is hot right now.
Right.
It's a hot topic. A lot of people saying, I got my affirmation, I'm writing stuff down, So let's get into some Napoleon Hill steps.
Most definitely.
On some affirmation game.
Right here.
Hey, let them know.
Right here.
Let them know.
Think and Grow Rich. If you don't have this book, go get you a copy. This is #1 bestseller in terms of personal development. Ask any rich person you know, what are their top 3 books? I probably guarantee you it's gonna be one of them.
So he got some action steps in here as far as, and we gonna bust it open. This is what we do, man. This is how we get down, guys. We really get in these books. We really study them. This is, a lot of people want to say Think and Grow Rich is dry or whatnot.
I said that too.
You know what I'm saying?
I
This
did.
is boring, but this ain't a damn comic book. This is a real life lesson book that needs to be taken seriously and actually broken down, and also broken down with a group of people. A lot of times people want to get into these type of books with this heavy amount of teaching, and when you're doing it by yourself, it can get overwhelming because there's so much new information in your mind. Your paradigm is programmed to old beliefs, right? So a lot of this stuff you don't quite understand, but when you do it as a group, when you do it as a unit, when you do it as a mastermind, we have several other members that y'all seen in prior videos. It's a couple of us, and we get in these books and we do it together, and we pick each other's brains about what we think about, certain paragraphs and certain topics, and it helps us get a better understanding of what these high-powered, high-sophisticated, super smart, super intelligent style authors like Napoleon is, and help us understand, his writings, man, because they could be a little tough. So, let's go into one part here where he talks about, Drew, the 6 steps.
That's going to be on page 26.
Page 26. So, break this down. He has the 6 steps that he calls the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into a financial equivalent consisting of the 6 definite principle steps. So what's that first one?
Man, and before we go into that first
that paragraph above.
I was going to talk about that paragraph above, because that's really where Napoleon gives his definition of what desire is. And he says over here, wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind, like I said earlier, that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire those riches and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. So that's his definition of what a desire is, and comparing it and differentiating it from what hoping and wishing is.
That's heavy. That's heavy. He has an obsession in there. You have a plan in definite ways and the means of acquiring riches, which riches is usually most people desire, and then backing those plans with persistence, meaning you don't quit. And then he got the steps right here to help you get that going, saying that your desire is for riches, which is most people. So the first step he has what?
So the first step he says here is fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Now, depending on what it is you desire, you could just switch that out. If it's money, if it's a house, if it's different things that your health, it just depends on whatever it is you desire. Every people got different motives, but he says fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Remember, you got to be definite. It's not sufficient merely to say I want plenty of money. Be definite as to the amount. There's a psychological reason for deafness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. Number 2.
Well, let's get a clear understanding. Just a clear understanding. We're saying we go back to the fixing your mind. The exact amount is not sufficient to merely say I want plenty of money, because that's what happens when we do our consultations. When we talk to people about what's their plans and what they want to do.
Correct.
Most of the people that we know that we talking to that's trying to get up out their job and they want to become an entrepreneur and stuff. I just want to quit my job.
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, I know I got to make a bunch of money if I'm gonna quit my job and I got these bills. Okay. So you ask them, well, how much money you need? A lot. What is your expenses? What is your month? If I ask you right now, what's your monthly expenses? How much does it cost for you to live per month? What is the exact number?
Correct.
Most people don't know.
Correct.
They just got bills all over the month. They don't have a number to know what they actually need. So it seems like most people who can't leave their job, who want to leave their job, because their paycheck is what pays their bills.
Most definitely.
They think it's so big and hard to just go out and take the risk and be an entrepreneur or a business owner, what they actually want to do, because they feel like their paycheck is going to govern how they live. But if you actually know what your monthly expenses is and get that number, you can be like, it only costs $2 for me to live a month. So now that you got that number,
it makes it easy to figure out what you got to do to make sure you're good.
To make it happen without that paycheck.
Exactly.
So when I ask you how much money you need to know an exact number. Because when people say, I want money, I want more money, what Bob Proctor say is, oh, you want more money? You can go outside right now and walk down the street and find a quarter on the ground.
Correct.
Pick up the quarter and put it in your pocket. You got more money.
And the reason why being definite is so important is because what we're doing is that we're trying to work with God and the universe. And if you're not definite about what you want, God gonna be looking at you like, well, okay, he didn't tell me how much he wants. He didn't tell me when he needs it, so I'm gonna work on my time. Because remember, the universe works in its own ways, so you gotta be very specific and definite so the universe can work with you. If you don't do that, the universe gonna be like, okay, he looked like he wishing and hoping, so you know what? He may need some money,
Shoot him $5.
Hey, shoot him $5.
Make sure you just eat tomorrow.
Because the universe gonna be like, he don't really know what he wants. She don't really know what she wants.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because a lot of people want a lot of damn money.
Right.
10 racks, 20 racks, 30 racks. Well, how the God of the universe gonna drop 30 racks on you? I don't even know if you can handle 2,000. And we get in there with these people with credit cards.
100%. We seen it. Easy.
Seen it.
Easy.
Seen it happen. You just want a bunch of money, but you haven't even prepared yourself for that money. So that's why you need to be very definite. And when you are definite about it, that's when, like you said earlier, the things that happen to prepare you for that.
Correct.
Boom, that's perfect. So second, he says what?
So second, he goes into determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There's no such reality as something for nothing, which is, very prevalent right now. We got a lot of people that want easy money, fast money. They don't want to necessarily put in the work, or specifically the service, because we should always realize that money is an exchange for value given.
Right.
What value are you giving out there? What service are you providing for you to be attracting that money towards you? For the universe to be like, okay, I see he's putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a good job. Let me help him out and flood him with all these new people that could go and get that service from him.
What do you intend to give in return? What is your sacrifice? How are you looking to help people? So, side note, and we're going to get in this too. Next, when I was going to ask you about your desire,
right,
and how you got your started. So just tapping into mine, when I decided to quit my job and, you know, I kind of share my story with you guys. How I was working at a shoe store. I was a store manager. I had no idea about credit. I had no idea about real estate, the things that I do now. I wasn't reading personal development books and this and that. But one thing I did have, even before I understood these principles, was my burning obsession, which was my desire, which is still in my desire, is to help people. I just wanted to help people. I just wanted to put people on. I just wanted to, you know, give people game, you know what I'm saying? And whatever I was going to get out of my journey, I want to give back to other people. So that became my burning desire. And that was my service. So I was like, hey, I know I need this money. I was working on my exact amount once I found my monthly expenses.
Right.
But I determined exactly what I intend to give in return, and that was to help people. Hey, man, I can help you fix your credit. I can help you understand your expenses. I can help you flip that money that you get. I can help. So in my mind, I knew if I continue to help people, which you talked about God in the universe, I continue to help God's children.
Correct.
That was my second step. And it was there for me the whole time.
Correct.
Which was I knew what I was going to give up in return for that money. And I think a lot of people need to really understand that. What are you going to give up? Stop just hoping credit cards just going to fly at your house. Stop just hoping 10, 30 bands just going to fly at your house. What are you going to give in return for it? And a lot of people, June, who are around successful people, who just want handouts.
Right.
Don't want to pay a consultation fee.
Right.
Don't want to buy your ebook. Don't want to purchase anything. They just want to give
Trying to finesse.
Trying to finesse because they don't have the bread.
Right.
But most of the time, successful people don't even just need your money. It's just that, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. So, what can you help somebody out? Hey man, look, hey Chris, I ain't got no money right now. I really can't pay that fee. But what can I help you with?
What value can I give you to where we could exchange that service? Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, and that's why I always try to tell myself and other people that, yes, the money is good, but remember the money is a result of the value that's being given.
What do you bring?
What are you bringing to the table? What is it? You got to bring so much value to somebody to where he like, hey, man, there you go. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go tell other people what you're doing. You helped me out so much. I had this problem going on for so long, and you've been the one to give me the solution I needed. That's all it's about.
You ain't got to sit in bed. You ain't got to sit in bed. Some of these great people I follow, Grant Cardone, the Jay Morrisons out there, the highly successful people. Shit, man, I take out their trash every day to get around them guys. I can't afford their feet right now. But shit, if you told me to clean your toilet, sweep your office, whatever it takes to get around you, to provide some type of service, or you need your car, you need me to walk your dog, to be around you, to get into that environment, I'll do whatever it takes. That's that burning obsession.
Because you know what you're going to get back. And there's plenty, once y'all read this book, there's plenty of stories in there. It's very exactly similar to how Chris broke it down, where you had people, for example, we had this, one of the greatest scientists of all time, Thomas Edison. In this book, they speak about Thomas Edison a lot, and they speak about, in the chapter on desire, one of the first chapters, they speak about somebody by the name of Edward Barnes, who had heard of Thomas Edison and had fixed in his mind that he was going to be a business partner of Thomas Edison. He didn't know how he was going to do it. Had no money, hopped on a train with the little money he had, landed at Edison's office broke. I think he started off as a janitor for him.
Just cleaning.
And was able to...
Took 5 years with no indication that he would work with this guy.
But in his mind, he believed it was true. In his mind, he already saw himself. They say he walked off the train looking like a tramp, but had the belief that he was going to be a millionaire.
And no retreat. Never was going to go back.
No retreat.
The day I left my job, the day I quit my job, I knew from that day I ain't never going back.
Most definitely.
I can't go back. If I just follow these laws, I'm going to be straight because it's already been written. So we go into that third one. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. So when people say, I want $50,000 and I'm going to do this to get that $50,000, well, what you said about God in the universe, well, what's the date? How soon?
When do you want that? You got to be very specific, because remember, we're not hoping and wishing. We're having burning desires. Burning desires are very definite. They got to be very definite. And that's one of the biggest mistakes which I learned that a lot of people do when doing these affirmations. Everybody's aware of what affirmations are, but we don't really take them seriously because we don't fully understand them. But reading this book, we got to understand, because he calls it a statement of purpose in here, but it's really just an affirmation. And these 6 steps that we're going through, which is kind of crazy, were actually delivered to Napoleon Hill by his mentor, who was Andrew Carnegie. If y'all not familiar with who Andrew Carnegie is, you definitely got to look him up. He was one of the richest men in history. He's basically the one that started and inspired the Industrial Revolution in America with the work he did with steel. By the time at his death in the early 1900s, he died worth around 100 million. If you translate that to 2020, that's worth around $300 billion.
Very rich. Using principles. Had no money. Coming over from what, Scotland?
Coming over from Scotland, dirt poor. He started as a laborer in the steel mills and ended up owning most of the steel mills in America.
Facts.
Bad boys, bad boys. The men who built America, right?
Straight up, straight up. So after you fix in your mind what you want, determine exactly what you're going to do, establish a date. So we're going to create a definite plan for carrying it out. So you need to just put your plans together. And we're going to speed up here because I got some more questions I want to get with you. So we're going to create a definite plan for carrying it out. Your desires and begin at once, whether you are ready or not. Just put the plan into action. Just move. Just move.
You'd be surprised all that overthinking you're doing. Once you take some action, God be like, oh, he's taking action. I'm going to throw him this so he could, I'm going to open up the next door. Don't worry about being stuck where you are. Just start. That'd be the hardest thing is getting started. And you just need momentum.
Because you want to plan it out so damn well. I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to plan, I'm going to write this plan, and it's going to actually this, and that. And then when I get the money, I'll do it. And when the plans get right, we'll do it. When the opportunity comes, then I'll do it. When shit, you get to doing all that in your head, you ain't going to make it nowhere. Because you know why? Once you start sitting trying to do all that type of planning with no action, you do planning, but with no action, you just going to talk yourself into not busting no move. Because you're gonna think about your face without works is dead. Because you're gonna think about all the failures.
Correct.
See, when you take an action, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Then you get to learn as you become a serial action taker like that. You be like, well, shit. Honestly, all them failures and all them L's I took was really lessons. You know what I mean? Because I got to learn so much from them. So that's where you got to take massive action, like Grant say, massive, massive, massive action. And then write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan to which you intend to accumulate it. And then he says, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, once before rising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of money. So Junior, let me ask you something. People who even get to this point, see, people not even to this point, they just want shit. Then when you get to this point and executing these steps, okay, I wrote down how much I want, when I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna do it, this and that. How many people really speak out their goals, their affirmations, before they go to sleep and wake up? How difficult is it to get your paradigm to do it?
I know exactly how many people do it. That's 1%. 1%, and you can see it in the evidence of results. A lot of times when we look at the 1%ers, they're not wealthy and rich because they smart. It's not a smarts thing. It's
half of them dropouts from school, high school. These guys back in the day didn't even finish high school.
We all wondering how Donald Trump is the president. We like, that dude's a fool, this, and the third. But I tell you what, Donald Trump got some of the baddest desire in this world. Donald Trump say he wants something, he gonna get it.
That's facts. That's facts, whether you like it or not. Just whether you like it or not. Certain people have that image and they know how to use these principles, whether it's good or bad. They know how to lock into it.
It's crazy too, because there's another book that we've read, How to Own Your Own Mind. And in that book, Napoleon Hill says that deafness of purpose is the best form of prayer. So, and that goes back to faith without works is dead. Don't just be sitting and not doing nothing about what you want. Put some action in there. Go network with people. Figure out ways to make what you want happen, and be surprised at what the universe will reward you with.
Because you won't know it all.
Correct. You won't know it all.
You won't know it all. And well, as you touched on God, if we look into the Bibles and the story that in the Bible, I mean, show me someone in the Bible that God has blessed with all the abundance and blessings that they received that them people knew before. Because if you knew now
Right.
what God has in store for you, you wouldn't believe it. So the whole play wouldn't even work.
Correct.
And God has to protect you from what you already don't even know what's going on. So there's certain things you have to go through, such as trial and tribulations and failures, that you must fall and pick back up on, so that the universe and God can be like, oh, well, you know, I put that little trip right there in front of them to see how this person responds.
Right.
Now that this person has responded in that manner, they'll be ready for the next one.
Right.
Some fall back and be like, I quit, I'm finna go back, I ain't finna do this shit no more.
Right.
Some be like, no, I have a burning obsession. I have a burning desire to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And whatever comes my way, I'm going to fight through it and get it done. And I'm going to read this day and night and believe it.
Correct.
So we'll go into, you know, our desires. I mean, shit, before I knew anything about credit, before I knew anything that was going on, all I knew was one thing, like, this is the key. I have a desire, of getting out of the position I was in. And once I got myself out of the position of having bad credit, not having no money, not overweight, not living how I wanted to live, once I was able to break free, my burning obsession was, for me personally, but then it started to heat up, and I was like, oh shit, I can help people. I can teach people this.
I was a witness. I seen it. I seen the whole transformation.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know, I seen this through other people as well. This stuff really works.
It really works. So let's touch real quick as to why is it that, as we broke down what desire is in our terms, why is it it's the first step towards riches? Like, why is desire the first step?
Because it's basically the foundation. It's the foundation. Just like when you cooking and you got a whole bunch of ingredients, is that you got to throw in that butter first. So desire is the first step. And I actually got some notes here, because your desire is based off of your motive. What are the motives for why you want the money? Motives for why you want that house, for whatever it is you want. You got to have a strong motive that's backing that desire. You got to be clear on that. So when you wake up every day and you're going about your business, you're on target. You're on target. And on here, I have a quote that says, if you don't see great riches in your imagination, you'll never see them in your bank balance.
Yes, sir.
So your desire is the starting point. There's a lot more other principles that come into play. You know, we got faith, we got auto-suggestion, we got sex transmutation, imagination, organized planning. There's a lot of other principles that we got to mix up, because it is a recipe. But without desire, all them other principles don't even matter.
And most of the big things is just about money.
Right.
Money come and go. People get money, blow it and go. I mean, people really counted at how much money they didn't blew off. You didn't got some money, you just blew it off, because you actually got you some money and didn't have no desire.
Exactly.
I have a desire to help people do consulting financially, with credit, and showing them how to leverage it in type of investments, and helping small businesses get access to capital through their credit. I have a desire to do that. Because I have a desire to help people and bring value to their lives, I get compensated for that. Exactly. That's where the money is coming from, what you speak on is value.
Exactly.
And because of that desire, that's my first step towards my riches. Now, when I took that step of just like, hey, I just want to help you with this, it opened up so many other doors.
Right.
Because I took that action step. So, you know, that's why you want more than that. So let's just touch base into your journey before we get a wrap up here. What was your desire, and what made you go on your journey of entrepreneurship and, you know, credit, and everything that came for your journey as to how you was able to leverage credit, and how you got into real estate, and how you got into marketing, and how you got into everything you do? Like, what was your desire?
So, man, my desire was really based off of a disappointment of my childhood dreams. You know, like I told you from before, like, you know, I'm from East Africa, from Kenya to be exact. I came over to the States to study, to go to college. I graduated, I became an engineer. You know, that was my dream job. That was my desire as a little kid, to be an engineer. And I didn't know what I was working with at the time, but because I did have a desire to do it, I was able to accomplish it, get the job, man. I was making great money, touching six figures and whatnot. But I came to realize that I wasn't happy at that job eventually after time passed, because of things that were not necessarily in my control. And always growing up, I've always had a money consciousness. I've always had hustles that I would do, and just seeing how I was working at this job, I was making good money, but I was like, where's all this money going? I'm not necessarily out here, you know, blowing money away, but I'm still like, where's all this money going? and I'm going back to the job, I'm seeing certain dynamics in the workplace that I'm not really messing with. You know, I'm seeing how we getting treated a little bit different from other people in there. As a lot of people out there, this could resonate with y'all as well. You know, you're not getting your fair chance. You're not getting your fair opportunities. You know, you busting your ass, you putting in work, and you're not being compensated like you should be. You're not getting the recognition that you should be getting. So for me, it just got to a point to like where I was like, man, y'all could only use me for so long.
And I might.
And what actually happened was that turned into a new desire for me. Because what happens was I accomplished my goal of being an engineer, but once I accomplished that goal, guess what happened? Because I had a strong money consciousness, my mind started looking for other ways to solve this new problem that I had. So I started doing all types of different stuff, but that was really my segue into entrepreneurship, because I saw entrepreneurship as a solution to this new problem that I had, to the freedom that I was looking for.
Because you decided to, hey, I'm finna stop trading time for money.
Stop trading time for money. I jumped back into some of my old childhood habits, just figuring out how to provide service, how to provide value. Tried all types of sorts of things, have all types of failures that led me to where I am now, bro. I was selling hair. I was walking around with a girl, hey man, you want that 26-inch wavy pattern? I was ordering hair all the way from India and stuff. I set up a whole hair company and stuff.
Yeah.
I was selling chalices.
Yeah.
I was doing a whole bunch of different things. I got into marketing, and then finally, because at the time, I really didn't know what I was doing in terms of these steps that are provided in this book.
You was taking action.
But I was taking action. But what happens is when you start taking action in the universe and God sees what you're doing, they're gonna
you serious too.
They're gonna throw you a hand. They're gonna be like, hey, check this out. They might bring somebody to you, or you may come across some information that sparks something in you. Mm-hmm. And I stumbled across real estate. And coming across real estate, man, it's been a crazy ride, but it's one that when I went into real estate and I found real estate, that was one of my last things that I was trying to figure out what to do with. And I ended up, it's kind of crazy, but I ended up, 2016 in oil and gas was a bad year, bro. People was getting laid off left and right. The money just wasn't the same. Oil and gas be big money business, but it's a cyclic type of industry. And when the cycle's down, people are getting cut. You're getting cut, you gotta go take a timeout, wait 6 months, wait a year, and jump back in. But usually when you jump back in, when the market picks back up, you're making such good money that time you took off didn't really matter. But what happened for me was that when I got laid off, I promised myself, bro, I said, I am never working for the man again. Mm-hmm. I'm never going back to any plantation again. I'm like, these are modern day plantations to me. After all the dynamics I went through in there, I was like, fuck this. I'm not dealing with this at all.
And you staked your life on it.
I burnt bridges, bro. I had once the market picked back up, I had old supervisors calling me, be like, hey man, I'm no longer at this company. I'm at a new company, man, and I liked all the work you did, man. Come through, man. I'm gonna take care of you. I know all the frustrations you had. Man, I got something for you, bro. I got something for you. I'll pay you good. Man, you'll get every other Friday off. All this other, I was like, man, I'm working on some other stuff right now. To be honest with you, I'm done with engineering.
Because it was heating up. The new desire was heating up.
And this is the thing, I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I hadn't even read this book. I was unconsciously doing a lot of this stuff, but I had burnt my bridges. I had staked a definite goal on real estate. On real estate being the service was what I was gonna provide to people. Mm-hmm. So that's really how I ended up getting into real estate. And right now, man, we've grinded in real estate for so long, and 2020 is going to be the year where we start to reap a lot of the things we've been sowing the last few years.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to touch on, you said bring certain people in your life to spark an idea. And a lot of people don't know out there, because a lot of people want to know, and I'm going to tell that story about how Mr. CJU, Mr. Credit Consultant, really got into this credit game that's burnt so many people that I've helped all over the country.
Blessed people.
That I was, fortunate enough and blessed enough to have met this guy right here, because at the time, 26 years of living, I've never had no one speak to me anything about credit until I met this guy. which sparked a fire into me that pretty much changed the whole trajectory of how I began to live my life. So y'all gonna have to stay tuned for the next video where me and Drew tell how that story happened and everything else. But as we wrap up, let's do just a real quick recap of the whole desire philosophy.
Cool.
We need to first know what's the starting point to all riches.
Second, stop. You gotta understand it's a state of mind. Forget all that wishing and hoping. Put that to the side. You're gonna be focused on what it is you want, and you're gonna be clear and definite on what it is you want.
Go within and find exactly what you want to do with your life that you can't live without doing. Find out what that is.
Get some quiet time, be with yourself, talk to yourself, really go deep within and question yourself. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself, why am I not happy? Why am I not where I want to be? Why is A, B, and C happening? Why is it that I know I want this, but I'm having trouble getting there? Like, really go deep and figure out what your desire and goals are and start off from there.
And know that if I do this, money, not failure, whatever it is, if I do this, I will be happy in my life. And go forward, full faith, massive action, learn from your mistakes, stay with it.
Stake your life on it.
Do your affirmations, read it, write your plan down before bed, as you wake up, like you say, stake your whole life on it. Find something in your life that you can go after, that you know that, hey, I either accomplish this or I die. I'm throwing my all into this. Find something in your life that you could throw your all at. And I can probably guarantee you, it ain't that job working for that man that's got that whip over your back. You know what I'm saying? And if you're tired of that, come holler at us, man, over here. CJ, would get you right, get your finances right, get your mind right, and everything else. Man, it's your boy. Thank y'all for watching, man. Another Mastermind Principles on Desire with my boy Drew in this thing. Holla back. Hap, hap.